This is it, ladies and germs. The Six Jokers card is finally here, and it's just this way at the Dim Carnival.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dim Carnival. This is Bill.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Ryan.
I don't know why I said it that way, but here we are. We're excited. We're excited because we're going to dive into the Six Jokers card, which is the Wraith, Shangri-La. And of course, you know, or maybe you don't. Maybe you're Andrew Weber and you don't know. But we're the Six Jokers card. Was actually split. What?
Before we get to the Six Jokers card, Bill, I just want to appreciate everybody who emailed us in the past week since last episode, who ethered you for your shitty opinion on the great ICP comic book.
Yeah. You know what? I deserved it. I'm not going to lie. I deserved it. I'm holier than thou. And, I could always stand to be taken down a peg. So I appreciate everyone just really laying into me there. Anyway. So Six Jokers card. We got to the Six Jokers card. We were expecting something crazy, and we got something crazy. We got two Six Jokers cards. Now, unfortunately, we would have to wait 2 years for the second Six Jokers card, but we got this one, the Wraith, Shangri-La. And this CD, there were two versions that came out. One was packaged with a live ICB concert DVD, and one was packaged with a DVD of the seminar from the previous year's Gathering of the Juggalos, which is where Violet J basically laid out everything having to do with the Six Jokers card. It's really cool, and you can actually watch this entire seminar on YouTube. It's very, very fun, very worth watching. I watched it again. I recommend it. Violet J is he came out in his new blue hair and blue face paint, which is normally it's blue and it's white, and normally where the black accents are blue accents. And during this time, during the Shangri-La era of raining shiny diamonds, that's how Violet J would appear. And then Shaggy got some new jaggedy face paint, which was in red accents. And he had red dreadlocks during this period for a while. So they got a new look to go along with the Six Jokers card, because it's such a momentous occasion that it deserves changing the very clowns themselves. That's how big it was. So it's a very entertaining seminar. We've referenced it before. This is where Jay talks about how he apologizes for saying things in a homophobic way sometimes. Mm-hmm. There's that stuff. And there's also he comes out and he talks about how nervous he is because, he's got such big things to tell them. And he sort of recaps the entire ICP history. It's sort of like a mini version of the Violet J autobiography up to this point. And it's fun, especially if you haven't heard the audiobook yet or read it. He recaps all the Joker's cards that had come before this and how they moved from label to label, and now they're back doing it by themselves again. So he talked about how the Dark Carnival, when they revealed the Six Jokers card to them, they revealed the Wraith, and the Wraith was the entity that would determine whether you would go to heaven or hell. So they had to show both of the Wraith's visions as the Six Jokers card. So they would have the Wraith Shangri-La and the Wraith Hell's Pit. And the very interesting and awesome way that Jay put it, which I appreciated, he talked about how Shangri-La is ICP talking to Juggalos and saying, like, this is what you got coming. This is how awesome it's going to be because we're on this path. And the Hell's Pit is ICP talking to the world and saying, like, well, if you don't fucking straighten up and fly right, this is what you got coming to you potentially. So I thought that was a cool way of putting it.
Neat.
Sorry, I had to cough. So they talked about, the album coming out. And then when the album did come out, I had somehow, I don't know if I read it online or whatever, but they had recommended, like, when the Six Jokers card comes out, just get home and listen to it with some headphones and just take it in, because this is what the journey's been leading to. And I was like, all right. So I bought it, and I didn't throw it on in the car. I got home, I opened it up, I took a look at the booklet, and something very interesting right off the bat about the booklet for this CD. This was the first ICP CD to have full lyrics. It had lyrics to all the songs in the liner notes, and I was very stoked about that because I could listen to it and read the lyrics. So I snapped the disc into my little Discman that I used for my runs, and I put my headphones on, I laid back on my bed, and I read the lyrics and I listened to the album. When you open up the CD, the iconic Wraith Joker's card, which is on a blue sky background, and the palm is facing up of the Wraith. That's the difference between the two Joker's cards. On Hell's Pit, he's in front of a Hellfire background, and his palm is facing down to send you down. He's coming up out of a book, and the book, the pages of the book form a lotus, and that's what he's rising up out of. So maybe Dark Lotus is the force that powers the entire Dark Carnival, as I talked about last week in our.
You sacrifice it, and you get 3 mana, whatever color you want.
Oh man, Dark Lotus. Man, if I could afford one of those, woohoo! I probably wouldn't buy one because I'd have cooler things. But still, could you imagine if I had that kind of money? Anyway, so when you open it up, the Wraith, the Joker's card part it's its own page. Like, it's a set apart page from the rest of the booklet. So like, there's the Wraith, the Joker's card on the front, and then the back of that is just a 1-page square. The back of it is Jay and Shaggy in suits, white suits, with their new look, with their new face paint. And then the book has a white cover, and it says the Wraith Shangri-La in gold lettering, not like foil, but just like gold colored lettering, looking shiny. And then on the back of the booklet is white, and it has the Psychopathic Records logo, Hatchet Man, in gold. And then you open it up, and inside there's all the lyrics and a bunch of pictures of Jay and Shaggy as basically angels. And it's fun, it's cool. One thing that I've always has always been a pet peeve of mine. It was a stylistic choice, but all of these in the entire booklet, so like the word the article, all of them are written as thy, Thy, instead of The. So that's why you will get listings on the track listings as Walk Into Thy Light, Thy Staleness, Thy Unveiling, Thy Wraith, Crossing Thy Bridge. I really hate it. It really has always bugged the shit out of me from the very moment. Like, I got what they were going for. They were trying to make it seem holy and like fancy and old timey and like an ancient tome. But I guess no one at any point ever explained to them that thy means your and not the. So,
well, let's talk about, except for Welcome to Thy Show. They didn't do that one.
It's true. Yeah, it's just unfortunate, but that's why. And shout out to the people who have put the full lyrics on Genius for not doing that throughout the lyrics of the song, which they definitely are printed like that in the lyric booklet. So guys, I don't know, like I was trepidatious going into this album at the time, because, you know, first Joker's card that Mikey Clark wasn't a part of. Mike P did the entire Wraith Shangri-La, and I had heard Cartoon Nightmares, so I heard Cartoon Nightmares and Take Me Home, so I knew that I liked songs that Mike P produced, but I still wasn't sure whether it was up to snuff of like putting a whole Six Jokers card together. But and I think we should probably talk about like the reveal when we get to the reveal in a few weeks. We shouldn't talk about it up top here, but maybe we can. I don't care. But I was just trepidatious. But then when I got home and I listened to it, I loved it. I thought it was awesome. But your guys, I don't know what, if you wanted to talk about background of how you came to this, or, you know, your overall impressions at the time, or whatever you guys want to discuss before we talk about the actual first track.
I was excited for this album. This was a good time and a fun time in my life. We were excited for this album to come out, and also, at the time, I was going to school at a junior college and trying to hurry up and get my AA to transfer to San Francisco State. So when you guys graduated from your school, we could all move up together to San Francisco. And so this album came out during that time, and that was a really fun time. And I remember I sat down and listened to this album, and I was dating some girl that I didn't know very well. And I was like, oh, man, this is cool. We're going to hang out, but I have to listen to this album. And she was really cool, and she was a really brilliant artist, and she went on to do some really cool murals in Salinas, and so I'm very happy that I got to spend a little bit of time with this lady. But this was just a strange moment, because I was just like, so before we listen to this, I just explained ICP to her because she had never heard of it, and I explained about as much as I could about the storyline, and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna listen to this and just listen to it with me. And then we listened to the entire album, and
Nice.
and she was very kind and liked it. And I was just like, I was totally geeking out, but I couldn't as much because I had a guest with me, so that kind of took down a little bit of being able to experience the album the first time, and I don't know why I did that to myself. But I listened to it many times after that, though, and it's such a great album. I got a lot of great things to say about each song, so I don't have much more to say other than that was just a funny story first time listening through.
Nice.
Yeah, I was pretty much on my way out of ICP at that point. I knew that I was going to buy these records, the 6 Joker's cards, because I felt like a sense of completism that I needed to do. And I remember putting it in, listening to it in my truck, and especially Walk Into the Light really made me, I was like almost upset that I liked it, you know, like I was like, oh, these fucking guys, you know, I can't get away from this fucking band. And it just brings back, they really dive into like the nostalgia factor on this album, and it really is like looking back over this whole thing that they've done. And it's kind of like we were talking about Cerebus last week. Like, there's a lot of problematic shit in Cerebus too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But if anything, I feel like a lot of people really respect that effort and what Dave Sim was able to accomplish. Similarly, I don't think you can argue with what they did. And I think it's their ability to go back and reference the things over that time that they've accomplished. Like, it's their own... Yeah, it's just their own story or whatever, their own accomplishment is very respectable.
Mm-hmm.
So
I agree.
I liked it, even, and I was mad about it because I was trying to, you know, trying to get away from these clowns.
I don't want to like this song. I do remember, like, because we were in capstone class when this album came out, and I was like, "Oh, did you get it?" And you're like, "Nah, I mean, I probably will," but like, you were like not looking forward to it.
Right. Yep. That sounds about right. And I feel like I definitely, so I've listened to the whole album now in preparation for talking about it, and I think I like it. I'm sure that I like it a lot more than I did then.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, I don't know, I was really hoping for something that would bowl me over.
This time or at the time?
Well, as they were talking about the six Joker's cards and all of that and everything that they were building to, my friend Robbie that got me into the band, we used to talk about and be like, what's going to happen? And just like talk about dumb shit, you know, like what could possibly happen. Like the world really ending, you know, and it, whatever. And so, but then...
That's probably the most likely thing.
But then I got older and started to care less about this music, I guess. And so I just wanted to know what the rest of the story was. So yeah, I guess that was pretty much what I was feeling going into it originally.
Yeah, so we're gonna try and get through the first 5 tracks this week, which are "Walk Into the Light," "Welcome to the Show," "Get You Wicked On," "Murder Rap," and "Birthday Bitches," because a lot of these songs tumble into each other, and I'll get to that in a bit, and they are shorter than your average ICP track, certainly. but we'll try and get through them. But if we start running up on an hour, we reserve the right to bump some to next week. So let's go ahead and dive in and talk about Walk Into the Light. So if you haven't taken a listen to that, go ahead and take a listen right now. It's been a while since we've done that. So yeah, guys, man, what a way to set the tone for the album, huh?
Oof. The song is great.
It's because we've talked about how in our minds the archetypical Joker's card is intro, quasi-instrumental track, and then opening track proper. And I feel like Walk Into the Light sort of does all of that in a very short amount of time in one track. Because it has a jump steady intro, a presence can be felt, and then it has sort of like, I would say like nature sounds, and then like some hillbillies or somebody talking about how they gotta hurry up and get to the show. Yeah. Then we get the ringmaster talking. I mean, wait, so sorry, we have agreed that the high pitched guy is the ringmaster, right? Or is he just a different guy?
I think it.
Okay, so the ringmaster's talking, and he lays some spoken word on us. And then we get into the track, which is a different sort of sound for ICP. And Shaggy opens the album, and then he does his best. And then Jay comes in with his smooth vocal stylings. And it's I like this song a lot. And it sets such a good tone. It sets such a good mood. And got a good chorus. Man, I just like this song a lot.
Hell yeah, man. I feel like this intro by Jump Steady's great. I think he does a great job. I think he sounds good. And I think it's interesting what he says. Some of it is kind of weird and silly. I don't really know what the echo of our lives means. But he really gets you fired up there when it's like, it's the story, the path to Shangri-La, the 6 Jokers card. Now we'll know understand the meaning of the saga. Like, it's like really hyping it up, man.
Yeah. I also want to point out one other thing that they said about the Shangri-La. He said at the seminar, Jay said, we didn't do this to try and please the Juggalos. We didn't make this album to try and please like the hip hop fans. We didn't do this album to try and make the rap fan or the rock and roll fans happy. He was like, we just did the album that the Dark Carnival wanted us to do, and we fucking nailed it. Basically. And I thought that was cool. Yeah. But I like I just like it has some of my famous it has some of my favorite turns of phrase ever in a ICP song, when especially the Icend Fagos via punted clear across the stadium in fashion only fucking juggalos could ever demand. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fagos via punted.
I mean, all the lyrics are great.
Yeah.
The chorus, the hook or whatever, is one of the best. It's one of the most like fucking. It just like I feel it full in my heart when they're singing that chorus.
Yeah. And they have just the smoothest touch of auto-tune.
There's a lot of vocal layering going on too. Yeah. I think what I talked about is that it's a very simple beat. There's not much guitar. It's just Mike P doing some guitar wow things in the background. Yeah. But lots and lots of layers of vocals. And if you have your headphones in, they're all over on each verse.
There's a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah. It sounds rad.
Also, like when Jay comes in, like when Jay's verse starts, you're like, oh, okay. Like, I love Shaggy on this track, but like, there's a few places where you're like, they're having to hold him back because he wants to do a different thing. Like, it's counter to his like nature, you know? But I do like the we even gather once a year to put it down.
I think Jay's first verse is my favorite part of the song.
The hold a bloody axe. That one?
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole thing, the beginning of the verses, he delivers that punted Fago line, which is great. I always loved I got ninjas in the backyard wearing anybody killer paint. I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on? And
what the fuck is going on?
And he talks about that in his book, where he would like wake up and there would be juggalos like out in his driveway, like wanted to talk to him. He's like, "You guys, this is my house. Like, you're scaring my kids. You know, like, you can't just come up here. Please go."
Awesome.
You know. But multiple times with the introduction of Twisted and Blaze, here we have Anybody Killa, who's recently new addition to the crew. First track, put Anybody Killa right in the front. Jay always pushing his artists forward, man, always supporting them. I would just be like, who came in, like Boondocks or somebody after the 6th? Man, what a bummer.
And ABK is actually the first person on the album too that's not them.
Oh, whoa, yeah.
And you know, ABK is the one who's still there. So,
but I love that he says, because he talks about this in the seminar that you mentioned, how like he's like, I told you the carnival was coming, right? At least I got that part right.
mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh shit, right? That's what this whole thing is, you know? And that's what he talks about. Like, and it made me think about in his book how there was a very long time between the 5th and the 6th Joker's card, and Jay was like frantic about it, stressing. He's like, the carnival hasn't told me what it is. I don't know. And so here he tells us he's leaning back in his chair and he sees his platinum record on the wall and he's like, oh shit, this is what the story is. This is what the 6th is about. I think that's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, like, when he says, like, when Jeff says the Joker's cards are none other than the echo of our lives, like, it's like basically saying right off the top that the reveal is like the Dark Carnival was inside us all along. Maybe the real Dark Carnival was the friends we made along the way, which is true, which has always been true.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's always been like, it's so funny that like the big reveal was like shit that was just always the text anyway.
But what about the stuff that's right above the text?
Don't talk about that. Yeah, no, like, this song is so cool, man. It's such a good feeling that it sets. Like, even the sound bed of like, oh, I didn't think they'd still be doing this. We gotta get the fuck in there. Like the birds chirping and stuff. Like, it's super cool. I love it.
Yeah.
Better get my butt in right now.
Big fan of this track.
Yeah.
I also like how the ringmaster says, boys and girls and everyone, we've got a carnival for that ass. So I always thought they were saying with tilt-a-whirls and marigolds, but apparently they're saying tilt-a-whirls and merry-goes.
Yeah, Mary Goes.
All right.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Marigolds.
Carnivals of Fago. Now that seems, that's an interesting turn of phrase.
It's a very fun, like, chorus to sing as well, because, like, you get to make your voice all low, and it feels very nice like a robot when you're like, light, right. That part. It's good. Like a robot.
Like it.
All right, further thoughts about this track, or should we move on to the next one? Let's do it. All right, the next track is Welcome to the Show, which follows right on the heels of this one. It bleeds right from this track into that track. So welcome to the show. If you haven't taken a listen, go ahead and take a listen right now.
Well, hello, boys and girls, come on and see the show. It's the mystical, magical, great dark carnival. Don't bother looking for parking, get rid of it. It ain't like you ever coming back, you fucking idiot. The carnival emerges only...
So I love that, like, all, like the first 6 or so tracks just all tumble and jumble in upon each other. And I love that. And I think it has a really good, like, I think it's thematically so perfect because it's like, depending on your perspective of how you're reading this text, this album is either a vision of your potential path to Shangri-La. It could be a vision of a potential Shangri-La, or it could just straight up be like, this is Shangri-La. And I'll ask you guys your opinion on that matter coming up here. But I love that because of the glimpse of Shangri-La that we're getting in whatever context it may be. I love that all of these songs like fall into each other in a sense of like, you're walking through Shangri-La and here, like, you're looking at all the different stuff that's happening, and like, this is this over there, and that's that over there, and you're just like seeing all of it, and it's just all washing over you. And I think that the tracks being really short up front and then like just all bleeding into each other is really evocative to me.
That's really cool, man. I didn't think about at all, but that sounds awesome. It's almost like when you get pushed in the front of Disneyland, there's like 20,000 things that you want to see. Can't see it all right now. Too many things.
Yeah. No, Bill, you said that perfect, and I totally understand where you're coming from with that, and see it the same way. It's kind of how my notes flow, and that was some of the things I love about this, because as much as I loved Walking to the Light, Welcome to the Show, I wrote in my notes, this is the best thing I could say about this song. This song makes me happy. This song is awesome. It's so awesome. And I don't want to say it's my favorite song on the album, because there's so many more great songs that come. But I just didn't remember how much I enjoyed this song. An ICP song makes me happy.
Other than Mr. Happy?
More than Mr. Happy. Although Mr. Happy's pretty up there. Mr. Happy's a better song. But this song makes me happier than Mr. Happy.
This song is also very great to see live. They don't do it a lot these days, but like when the guitar kicks in and they just start throwing Fago everywhere, it's very good.
Speaking of the guitar, I feel like this song, the music on this song it's too much for me.
The guitar?
It's very, very dense. There's lots and lots of sounds all over the place, and sometimes, and especially in the chorus, it sounds just like it's hard for me to pick out like what noise I'm hearing. Like it just sounds like a lot of noise.
Yeah, to me the guitar part of the as far as the music of the song goes, like overall I love it to death. I love the whole track to death. But like to me the guitar parts of the song are the cohesive part, like as far as like, oh, I understand what I'm listening to now. Like during the verses it's a little bit like it doesn't really match up. Like I don't know what they're going for, but it's just kind of weird, and it's sort of insubstantial. Like it's not weighty, because there's like sort of like a in the background, but it doesn't really, it's not immediately clear what sounds we're hearing until it gets to the guitar, really.
Sure.
But I got a spike for your neck with my ninja blowgun.
The line right before that is my favorite line in the song, when Shaggy 2 Dope says, "We'll strap you down and spin you a doodle oblivion." Yeah, no, I love like all of the, and we'll get to it more on the next track, but they do so many cool effects vocally on the whole album. It's just a lot of fun.
Relax your nipple and nut sacks.
Relax your nipples and nut bags.
Sacks.
I like, I really love the line, "Everywhere that we go from Alaska to Spain, I'm seeing juggalos dancing in a Fago rain." Like, so dope. But I also think it's a little funny because like they went on like one European tour and then never went back. Well, he said they tried to open up they had a European office, right, to try to get it really going over there, and they failed miserably. They're like, whoops. I also wrote down that line. I thought it was great. And then he also says he gives a preview of Hell's Pit. Yeah. Yeah. Which would come out in like 4 years, right? Something.
Well, they just knew that their music would be around so long that lyric would be more relevant, that it wouldn't be relevant in the moment. Just think about it. We're listening to it, 15 years later, and it's like super relevant. If you haven't heard it, go out and get it. You just couldn't when he said it. Yeah, no, I had the exact same thought. I was like, when the album came out, I was like, oh, we can't. But then, like, ICP knew better than we did that you don't always listen to music right when it comes out. The whole time. I like all the verses and I like the chorus. I like everything. But I feel like when the chorus or the hook switches, at the end is much, much better. So I feel like the song gets better when it gets to the repeating outro part. Yeah. Welcome to the show, or the when it's your time, death is near. That part. Yeah. You like the traditional ICP chanting chorus. Yeah. You don't like them when they learned how to sing and sold out and got soft. Sporting MC Hammer pants. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, are we ready to get our wicket on, or what? Anything else to say about this track, or are we moving on? We said all there is to say. Yeah, all right. I'm happy. All right, let's
get your wicked on. If you haven't taken a listen, take a listen right now.
Motherfucker, get your wicked on. We know you hate who we are, but even in Shangri-La, wicked come, gotta get there. JD the weed man with the juggalo.
All right, guys, get your wicked on, because you know what? Even in Shangri-La, if Wicked Clown's got to get his wicked on.
Yo, Minox Boogie, where the weed at?
We do.
Uh-huh.
Stevie Wonder Bra can see that. Shit, he do. Has another really great, two great effects that I absolutely love is the dancing on the, like when they come in to the lines. So cool. I love that. I don't even know what you call it. The stuttering, like the quasi scratching, you guys know. And then, the cut your head off and swing it by the hair until you get blood everywhere.
Yes. Love that line.
What a great sound. The perfect sound effect. Perfect sound effect. Love it. Like it, love it, gotta have it.
There's a couple of lyrics in this song that Bill and Steve, you each referenced in the earliest episodes of the Dim Carnival. I don't know if it was the intro or within the first 5 episodes. The 18 speed and +2 dagger.
Yeah.
When we were talking about D&D for the very first time, I'm pretty sure, Bill, that's when you referenced that.
Oh yeah.
And then they say that we fuck hotties with the same dick.
We do.
And that was probably back on Tunnel of Love, maybe, or I don't know, Carnival of Carnage.
Yeah, you
love song.
referenced.
Steve mentioned that when we talked about whether or not they would have sex with the same woman.
Yeah. Yes. It's in my notes.
Perfect.
Yes. It always disturbed me. I don't know why.
Is it like
Well,
somebody else's,
why.
like
I know
John Wayne Bobbitt's dick that they're fucking this lady with?
No,
Or is it-
I don't know. They're such great homies. They're one. I don't know. It's weird.
Same dingus.
Same dingus.
The other line that I wrote down that I really liked is he says that I can make a fist with your neck in it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Ooh, he can.
Can.
I'm really been getting back into my grip strength. Bent some nails at work the other day. Got some applause. So the idea of that is crushing somebody's neck with your hand. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Is it this? It's not this track where he talks about someone with the Juggalo Crip Walk. It's a different track, right?
No, that's in the chorus of this one.
Is it? Okay.
JD the Weed Man with the Juggalo Crip Walk.
Oh yeah. Juggalo Crip Walk.
I liked how they said, I'll drive a tank through your high school. And then, which is like, sounds awful until someone in the background is going, I love it. It's so funny. That totally takes away the power of how awful that would be by just having someone do the mouth version of it.
Nice. Mouth version.
Gotta be wicked, even in Shangri-La.
Yeah.
So let me ask you guys then, how do you interpret the Wraith Shangri-La? Is it a vision of the path to Shangri-La? Is it a vision of Shangri-La? Or is it meant to be that this is Shangri-La? Like, this is us inside it?
I think that might almost be contextual to each song and your interpretation of it.
Well, because I had always just been like, oh, this is just Shangri-La. Like, we're in Shangri-La now. But there are some context clues in, like, the seminar and some of the lyrics now that I'm listening, like, current day and, like, paying a little bit more, interpretive attention to, where it's like, oh, this is the Wraith showing you the path, showing you what Shangri-La could be like, rather than, like, this is the Wraith welcoming you to Shangri-La. And, like, it's probably not, like, an important enough distinction. I just, like, it was interesting to me that, like, I never really looked at it a different way. It's just I'm hearing things differently now.
No, I can see what you're saying, because I feel like when my first time through listening to this back in the day, because of the way the intro was, and maybe just because of the way I was raised in a type of Christianity, like they're like saying, "Let's go over here." We better get there now. And then the song kicks in, and he's like, "Come on in, see the show." He's like, "Don't worry about parking, get rid of it. You're never coming back." All that stuff. So I interpret.
I love that line, by the way.
Oh, it's amazing! It's
and I
so
never
great.
really like. I knew the line, but I never really thought about the line of like, "Don't worry about parking, get rid of your fucking car. You're not coming back."
Yeah. So I interpreted it as they were going to heaven. So I can see what you're saying. My first interpretation, especially growing up with a literalist interpretation of like what biblical heaven would kind of be like, I feel like this is kind of in that realm. Mm-hmm. And then listening to it this time through, I see exactly what you're saying, where there's multiple layers you can look at it, how they're coming across.
Yeah,
like it could be both, again, based on what the song is.
Right. And I think I agree with you, Steve, and the way that I interpret it is, my first thought was it's still a rap album, and so they still want to have certain elements or have certain songs, and not necessarily every song has to be continuing the narrative of Shangri-La or whatever, telling more specifically about that.
Yeah.
But I also get this impression that it is sort of their perspective of the ideal afterlife scenario, and if you think about what they would want to see there, then that's the kind of stuff that they talk about. There's a gangster rap song, and there's a stupid silly kid song, and there's a sex song and whatever, because those are the things that's on their mind, like that's their heaven, and so those are the things that they care about. It's inevitably, whether they intend for it to be that, it ultimately ends up being that because they cared enough to put it on the album.
Yeah.
Until
it turns out to be that Twilight Zone episode where really it was hell all along.
Oh no. Shit. We're just toys in a barrel the whole time. If you've never seen 5 Characters in Search of an Exit, you should check that out. Oh, anyway.
And there's a line in there where they're talking about me and the Wraith play cards, and then someone's in the background going, "Uno, bitch." I love that.
Apparently something that kids are doing now is carrying around Uno reverse cards, so that if someone like says something they don't agree with or whatever, they can just hand them a card. Which I think is fucking amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say kids are geniuses.
Also, Undertaker recently shared an Instagram photo of him playing Uno with his kids on like a private jet or something. He's holding up like 20 cards, and he's like, the caption is like, "When your kid hits you with a reverse and a draw 8 before you even had a chance to play."
Poor Undertaker.
Oh no.
Socket. That's kidding. Well, anyway.
It was me all along.
Any further thoughts on this track? Not a goddamn one. All right, let us move on to Murder Rap. If you haven't taken a listen, go ahead and take a listen right now.
When I sit there and write this shit for the mic I hold to make sure my beats are loud and bold and cold. Violent J is the name that I go by. Waking up with blood on my hands and I don't know why. You motherfuckers trying to get in my path. Don't be surprised when you get a shotgun up your ass.
So this is sort of a Ryan, did you look up like this is a cover?
This is a cover.
Yeah.
It's a cover of a track by a group called Above the Law. Track of the same name, Murder Rap.
Is there anybody I won't kill?
Yeah, it's a pretty awesome song.
This song rules.
Yeah, I love it so much.
Yes. Well, I mean, they sampled it. So, the song Murder Rap, the original one, Above the Law, it samples Ironside by Quincy Jones. Which the Kill Bill, like that's what most people know.
Yeah.
And I guess that, when did Kill Bill come out? After this, right?
Yeah, I think so.
This came out in 2002.
Yeah. We watched it at the theaters in 2004 in San Francisco.
So they were ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
As they always are.
And so since Kill Bill, that Ironside sample is all over the place. It's in tons and tons of places. But to hear it here, way before everybody else fucking did it. Well, I guess Murder, Above the Law did it in whenever that was, 1990.
I had heard. Well, yeah, I had also heard. I don't even know. Like, it might have been Above the Law, but like, Homicide the Wrestler, I guess it wasn't the rear. I guess it was the da 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 da. That part.
Yeah.
Homicide had been coming into a gangster rap song that used that sample since like 2002. So everybody knew about it.
So when I was listening to this, listening to it out in my garage, as I normally do, these songs, like you said, they all bleed together. They all blend together. And I didn't even realize we went into a different song.
Yeah.
I was just making notes, and then I was like, oh shit, here's a Quincy Jones sample. And I was like, oh, well, fuck, this song fucking rules. Yeah. Holy shit, it gets much better at this part. We're on a different song.
Track.
Okay. This is a cover. It's very much like, I've mentioned before on the podcast. I can't wait till we get to it because I want to talk about it so much. The House of Pain Jump Around cover that ICP does. They have a whole album of covers, and they take the original, but then they kind of clownify the lyrics. They ICP it up a little bit, make it a little bit more bloody and gutsy and silly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love the original. It sounds great. I mean, it's a wonderful track. But I appreciate this one so much more because it's these clowns that I love, doing it their clowny way.
Yeah, it's so good.
I mean, they actually, usually I like a song in spite of the guitar in ICP music, and in this song I love the actual guitar in it, especially in the parts where they start having the scratching in the background and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like all the samples, and it just continues. Is there anyone I won't kill? Like, it just keeps going and going. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
Also, Shaggy gets the benefit of stealing the flow from the original guy from Above the Law.
Mm-hmm.
And does him well.
Speak loud like words and verbs and adjectives.
Right, smart.
Look at the adjective. Play. Yeah, I mean, is there really anything to say about this track other than how much it rocks?
Oh yeah, it rules. I love that I just wrote a random wrestling reference, and I knew they'd make me go back to how there's just like that break-in in it where they have the ringmaster introducing the Wraith and Malenko and the ringmaster in a triple threat match.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not a triple threat match, but they are the triple. Like the three of them form a force. That's what I got from it.
Oh, I guess I just completely interpreted it in wrestling terms, or all of a sudden there's just like this triple threat match.
But the triple threat was also a wrestling stable, so you're not incorrect.
If not for the nostalgia factor, this is my favorite song this week.
Nice.
Yeah, Walk Into the Light just has that, like I said, that like makes my heart feel full, that good feeling when I listen to it. But I think this is the best track this week.
Nice. I mean, as a pure track, you're probably not wrong, but it may not be the track I like the most, but it's pretty undeniable about how great it is. So.
Well, I think it's brilliant how it flows. Just the way it continues to go. It goes from So Happy to Get Your Wicked On to getting really into murder rap. You know what I mean? And then it goes back to a joke right after we're done.
Yeah.
And even that song is not like, it still doesn't even feel like Jekyll Brothers song, like the anger in it. You know what I mean? So it still doesn't even feel that way, even though it's a really aggressive song and dark.
Yeah. And it's one other thing, joyous somehow. Yeah.
Yes. Well, and we didn't mention there is an intro by Legs Diamond up at the front, and I think this is his first appearance on the album. But there's three guys in Above the Law, if I'm not mistaken, and that song is like 6.5 minutes long. And so they really did a good job actually paring it down, and I feel like it makes a much better package, the way that they kind of cut down the verses and split them between Jay and Shags.
Yeah.
I think it's
a a rare show of restraint from ICP.
Especially going into the next song.
Oh, goodness.
All right, shall we talk about it?
Let's do it.
Yes,
All right,
please.
well, let's talk about birthday bitches. So if you haven't taken a listen, take a listen right now.
I got your fucking present hanging next to my nuts. Now when I'm swinging on my hatchet, if it hits you with cuts, don't make me chop your head in half and smack the side with the cheek. Because I haven't had my mellow roll in almost a week. Your fucking mama brought me here to entertain your ass. So no matter what.
Guys, I gotta say, I like this song more now than I did at the time, but I didn't like it very much at the time. But I will say also,
yes.
I recently saw them perform this song at the How the Wicked tour, and it was a lot of fun live. So I think that also added to my enjoyment of the song, because I definitely wasn't expecting this song to be part of the How the Wicked show. But it was really cool, and it was a nice little treat. I've always appreciated that they gave Shaggy a solo track on the Six Jokers card.
Even if it's only 1 minute and 30 seconds long.
Yep.
Yes. No. For me, I agree with Bill. The first time through listening to this, all of a sudden I felt like after this great momentum, like this was like the crash of the wave coming up to being foam on the shore, and then it's gonna roll back out to more better music and better waves of music coming up, and that's what the song just felt. Yeah, thank you. But listening to it this time, I'm like, this shit's fucking brilliant. Holy shit, dudes. Okay, so what, this came out in 2001, right? 2002? Where are we at here?
2002, yeah.
2002. Am I mistaken, but is this the first time they actually do a child clown, birthday party clown joke?
As a song, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like,
they've done skits before. I also really appreciated that about it.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that, how they've done other skits, but like, it's just really funny that this was like an easy joke that they never did.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, the first line.
Yeah.
Really, got your fucking present hanging next to my nuts.
And I love that they went with Shaggy to do the joke. Like, they had all this time to do this joke, never did it. They finally do on the Six Jokers card, and they have Shags do it, and it's brilliant.
Yeah. Also, so I don't know why this line always stuck with me so relentlessly, but it wasn't until I saw them play it at Hello Wicked that I understood that he is just like putting a weird emphasis on something. So he says, I could probably do a cartwheel or something if you move the couch. And then he says, but that ain't what I'm fucking about. And that's how he says it. And so I always thought he was like just saying that ain't what I'm talking about, like sort of like that's not what I'm talking about, but saying it in like a vulgar way. And so like I thought he was just saying like that ain't what I'm fucking about. But what he's saying is, but that ain't what I'm fucking about. And I never got that until but I always thought about that line. I just always thought about it. Like, what a weird line. Like, because the way he says it, and it just always like stuck with me. I wouldn't say it like bothered me. It was just like one of those weird quirks that I thought Shaggy like just did. But he was just saying something very straightforward in a weird way. He does say it weird, right?
Yeah. No, because as you're saying it, I was thinking how it reminds me of like when you draw a cube on a piece of paper and you put the dot, and it moves back and forth. Yes. That line does that. Yeah. Because it could be exactly either way what you're saying.
Right. Anyway, that's me being dumb.
No, that was actually pretty funny. That's cool.
He also obligatory wrestling reference in this song.
Oh,
he ain't that big and scary, though. He flies like Little Rey Mysterio. I
noted that this was one of the few songs that I might be hypocritical on not being upset or being, or a little upset at least, about saying he'd beat up these women if they were mad about him beating up their children. I love the way he says, step it up or bring it on. Like, normally violence towards women is not funny, but the way he says it in this song and context.
No, I think in that context, like, I don't know, like, I feel like in context, like, it's not perpetrating violence against women so much as it is like, I'll beat up anyone who tries to stop me hitting a kid. Well, but even that, like, it sounds bad to say, obviously.
That's what I mean. Like, they're like, how do you defend that? It's like, no, it's art.
Yeah, it is art.
But it is. This is literally art.
I feel like the music's really fun. I feel like the beat's really fun. It's got like noisemakers and party sounds in the background. The drums are really bouncy. And then at the very end, when ABK comes in and screaming, he's like the dad, I guess. Tell everybody to sit down, or it's everybody's birthday.
Yeah. I took that as anybody kill is his backup. Like, he's not the dad. He's like telling the kids, sit down or everyone's going to have a birthday today.
Yeah.
Oh, that's much better. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because then everyone else is like, it's not my birthday.
Yeah, no, it isn't.
It's not my birthday.
That also takes the joke to another level. Like, they waited so long to do the birthday clown joke, and then they finally did it, and they did it perfectly. Because the joke is like, well, if you think I'm a birthday clown, I'm going to fucking kill you. I'm like, whose birthday is it? Because I'm going to murder you whoever's birthday it is.
They're like, yep, exactly.
And then ABK like fucking busts in through the door and he's like, look, if everyone doesn't shut up, I'm going to, like, it's everybody's birthday.
I can't believe I didn't pick that up. Like, it seems very obvious now, but yes, that's so rad. I didn't get it at all. I'm fucking dead.
It's okay. It's like Steve said, it's art. So
yeah,
it takes time.
Right, I need to think about it a little bit more.
But yeah, ABK gets a little bit of coming in there and yelling, and I think he up at the top he yells, "Story time!" Oh no, at the end.
That's the end of this. Yeah, going into the next one.
Going into blam. Which I'm very excited to talk about next week. So that's the first 5 tracks. Anything else to say, guys?
Oh, I love this so much.
I have loved these tracks this week, but next week is gonna be some fucking good shit.
Tasty.
Yes, cannot wait for next week's tracks.
Let's say we're going to do 4 more tracks next week, unless you think we should do 4 more. So we're going to talk about Blam, It Rains Diamonds / Bitch Slappas, The Staleness, and Hell's Forecast. I'm very excited. We're going to talk about those next week. So until then, please, we love hearing from you, even if it's to drag me for not liking a good comic book. dimcarnival@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at dimcarnival. You can follow me on all social media at Sundown Motel. And if you do a little digging, maybe you'll find out who these other gentlemen are on social media.
How dare you?
Anyway,
I don't think you have to look that hard to find Steve.
They're not on. But thanks to everybody for listening. As always, we love you. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts if you're so inclined. And we'll talk to you next week. I'm Bill.
And I'm Ryan.
And you know what, guys? This podcast, this one right here, is what I'm fucking about.
Guys, this bean and cheese burrito is so big. It's got to have at least 1 can of refried beans in it. Like, there has to be more than, at a minimum, there's a whole can of beans.